Hello, darling.
Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very good.
Good. It's raining outside. I'm glad we're inside.
It's wet, but I don't think it's actually raining here.
Oh, that's not too bad. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting episode. Gone in 60 seconds.
Yes.
I think it'd be gone in a lot longer than that for us.
Yeah, it's I'd never ever seen the original before
No, it's snap.
this, and I've only watched it once. I don't think I could do the watch it again. I'm not saying I'm not. That's no indication of what I think.
Yeah.
But I did send you a text afterwards, after I'd watched it, and I actually said to you, "Is it wrong that I quite like it because it's so bad?"
Yeah.
And you just sent me a laughing face back, and yeah, we'll get into it more. But I just think, yeah, it's different. Let's put it that way.
Just slightly.
Yeah. Should we do our proper introduction? On this episode of the Deja Review, we're talking about my sex life gone in 60 seconds. Honestly, I don't last that long.
I am not saying nothing.
Oh, dear.
Right, give us some background on this one then.
Okay, so Gone in 60 Seconds, 1974, released in the UK not until March 1978, distributed by Brent Walker Film Distributors.
I think that's probably the only time we're going to ever hear that name as a distributor.
Yeah, I've never heard of them before. Estimated budget 150,000, which, considering how many cars they wrecked, that's not bad.
No.
Estimated box office 40 million, so it definitely made its money back.
Just slightly.
Screenplay by H.B. Halicki, story by H.B. Halicki, and directed by H.B. Halicki. Rotten Tomatoes critic score 43%, audience score 65%, and the cast of H.B. Halicki, Marion Busia, Jerry Daugirda, James McIntyre, George Cole, and Ronald Halicki. Mark, do you want to give us a synopsis?
When a South American drug lord pays Pace to steal 48 cars for him, all but one is in the bag. Thereby, the police precipitate in a desperate car chase against Pace and his Eleanor across Southern California.
What?
What?
That makes no sense whatsoever. That's a terribly written synopsis. Not by you. We got this off IMDb as usual, and it doesn't make sense. Anyway.
Yeah, moving on.
Then again, perhaps they watched this film and they didn't understand it either.
It's so much like a student movie, isn't it?
It is, but then it makes you wonder, like, H.B. Halicki was like, oh, I'm not getting any parts. What shall I do? I know. I'll write one, and I'll direct it, and I'll star in it.
Oh, that's nice. So you want me to star in it, write the theme tune, and sing the theme tune?
Yeah.
I actually think he was quite a good actor in it.
He was probably one of the best actors in the film.
Yeah.
At least he didn't stare at the camera.
No. It was very strange. The thing which I noticed very early on is there's a hell of a lot of ADR in this.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's filming.
Oh, yeah.
So I to me it looks like he was a very inexperienced director. So I think he's obviously filmed stuff in cars, on the boats and stuff like that. And it's like, well, I can hear the water all the time because he's obviously just got microphones wherever and they're picking up other sounds. And it's like, well, how can we get around this? I know, let's just... I was really hoping the whole film wasn't going to be like it. But I think that would have been a nice twist if it was.
Yeah.
And then I had to check to make sure it wasn't dubbed. Is that why nothing was matching up? But yeah, it was. I think it was their inexperience showed there that it was like, yeah, we're getting too much background noise on everything else, so we're going to have to ADR everything else.
Yeah.
because like when they're stripping the cars to bits, there wasn't a single noise of a car being stripped. It was just this conversation, and then all of a sudden you just hear a zzz of a drill or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was how are we going to get this? And I thought, is it going to be like this all the way through?
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't like it all the way through. My question is, how many sunglasses does a person need?
Well, they were different. It's actually, I've got about 3 pairs in my car because I always lose them. But his were all across the dash there, weren't they?
All the way across the dash. Who am I going to be today? Is it Mr. Round Sunglasses or is it Mr. Straight Sunglasses?
Well, they looked like they'd all got different types of lens, so perhaps it was for different night driving and stuff like that. But
don't talk about the night driving, because that night car chase, they could have shone a bit more light on it so we could actually see what was going on.
But again, was that inexperience?
No, it was because it was done guerrilla style, so he didn't have the permission to do it, and he had to film however it came across.
But I think, some of it is the naivety of it as well, because there's certain bits which you can tell weren't actually permission given, and it was just sort of like, let's quickly do this bit. You can tell the way they're sort of looking around while they're doing stuff. But then there's other bits in, especially the final chase scene, where you see the car coming along, and all of a sudden you notice cop cars on the junction.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, are they going to pull out and block him? And they just sit there. And it's obviously they got permission for that bit. And the police are actually the ones blocking any other traffic from going. And it was, from the looks of it, it was like a one take and done. You've got permission to close this road for 15 minutes, get it filmed now, go. There was a couple of bits like that, because the big jump, which is about sort of like, well, we'll go into the final car chase in a bit, but it shows it from different angles. I think he was trying to go into Steve McQueen Bullet territory, where they do that.
Quite possibly. Yeah.
But literally on the bank, there's like this massive bank there. The amount of people standing there, obviously watching a film being made, they were just all stood there. There was no rhyme nor reason why all those people were there. And I think that bit must have been done at a racetrack or, some sort of like
an event.
And it was like, right, we're going to film this. We're going to do this on, some sort of track. And it was just obviously everyone watching from there. And it was sort of like, just don't show that angle.
Just cut it. Just zoom in slightly and just cut it down so you can actually see it. Halicki, in that car jump at the end, when he landed, he compressed his spine.
Oh, ouch!
Because he was actually doing the driving himself. So
it wasn't the stunt. It wasn't the stunt.
There was no stunt crew.
Well, there was, because the guy driving the car.
Yeah,
the car.
But
the
no,
guy
it was
driving
Halicki
the car
himself.
again. Oh wow!
Yeah, he compressed his spine on that one. So
it did land on his front quite hard, didn't it?
You know the sequence where he hit the post and it spun the car around? He got knocked out at that point, and he woke up, turned to the crew and said, "Did we get the footage?" And they went, yeah. And he just carried on. But it made me laugh when they said that there was no skid marks after the train derailment. There would have been with me.
Yeah. Yeah, there definitely would have been skid marks. I know, perhaps it was no visible ones.
Yeah, nothing left at the scene.
Yeah.
Right. So I was watching the tow truck chase.
Yes.
And it's flying down some very, very dual carriageway style street in California, and then all of a sudden, in one cut, it goes to a gravel.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there going, huh? Was there a missing chunk of this, or did they just go, fuck it, we'll just do that?
Or it's like, right, we filmed this bit, we can't do any more here. Where are we going to go now? Let's go here. I think a lot of it, like I say, was done. Well, you see right at the end when the credits are coming up, at the end, the battered Eleanor car.
Yeah.
And the stunt driver spinning it around with, I don't think it was one of the actresses. I don't know who it was in the car.
I think it might have been his daughter or something, but yeah.
But just sort of like doing donuts and everything. So I've got a feeling certain bits were filmed there, and then right, we can quickly do it in this backlot. Oh, no one's working at this industrial estate at the minute. Let's quickly dive a bit into there and do it. I like you say, guerrilla filmmaking. It was done, but for 150,000, considering how many cars they wreck, they would have had to have paid for whatever permission they could have got. It's not a brilliant film. I've said that right at the beginning of the episode. But you get a lot for 150,000 then.
Oh hell yeah,
When you bear in mind films of that time were getting budgets of at least a couple of million upwards. To do all of that for 150 million was,
and the amount of cars they had to pick up, and the amount of cars that they wrecked, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. Obviously, watching the remake, I don't know how many times I've watched the remake. Probably about a good 15, 20 times I've watched that remake, and then seeing the original and having the drug bags.
Yes,
that sequence. It's weird. So I did not expect that to have been a sequence that they reused, if that makes sense, in the remake.
Well, I was going to go through comparisons when we got to the remake.
Yeah, we can still do that.
Were similar-ish, but yeah, that was there. What I did think with this one is when you see them right at the beginning stealing the cars, I thought it was really clever the way they do it. Let's get a car that's just basically trashed, rip off everything that's identifiable, so all the locks and stuff like that, the number plates, VIN numbers, then steal another one and replace it with that. So it's basically minimum amount of work to actually have a full up and running car.
Yeah.
When you've literally only paid sort of scrap value for another one. And the only reason which led to the tow truck scene, was because they turned it around a bit too quick. And it was like, how did you get that repaired so quick? I know someone noticed it, didn't they? Someone from...
Yeah.
But I like the way he actually, in this one, he actually works for the insurance company that's investigating his own robberies.
Yes.
It's quite a few of the writing on that part I thought was very clever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree.
Like how he gets away with it.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of clever bits that was going on in that film. I think potentially the script idea and some of the writing outdid what they were able to do, if that makes sense.
Yes, yeah. He maybe should have brought on a more experienced director to direct with him, so he could have learnt from him. Then again, it's the budget. How much budget did they have?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think a more experienced director may have improved the filmmaking on it, I think.
And also it could have been used as a sweetener with people closing off more roads, or it could have been more lighting on this car chase or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. If you watch that and you was going, this is my first film that I'm ever doing, I'm writing it, directing it, starring in it, and like I say, for the budget that it cost, I thought they did really well for it. You know, the wedding scene near the beginning, when the bride gets out of the car, someone launches rice directly at her face. And they quickly cut off, but it was literally just straight in her face, right into her eyes. And I'm going, someone obviously didn't like her, or it was like, throw the rice now. But it was wallop.
No, we've got to do this really, really quick. So whatever you do it quick.
And just
baseball pitch to the face.
But there was another scene, again, quite early on, where he's trying to sort out the stuff, and he's with his girlfriend, and they're walking through this like park, and the whole scene is out of focus. I think he must have just plonked it there. Again, it's ADR. Nothing is actually matching what they're saying, or it's simulated. So it's definitely been added afterwards. But he must have plonked the camera there, set the focus. As soon as they moved to wherever they needed to, the focus must have stayed on one single point, because it never focused once on them at all. I think he must have just done that bit on his own.
Quite possibly.
The tiger in the car scene had me in stitches.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Where he just gets in there, and it's sort of like he hears that sound and the terrified look on his face, and he just pegs it. And then the tiger gets out and chases him as well.
Yeah.
It was funny. But then it was of its time because a lot of people in America were owning big cats before they brought in, obviously, many rules and regulations. It was like the fashionable accessory, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You didn't have to be brother magicians in
Mike Tyson.
Or Siegfried and Roy, wasn't it? You didn't have to be them doing your Vegas
showcase. Yeah. But no, there were some really, really funny sequences in this film. I don't know if half of them were intended.
I think there was certain amounts that were ad-libbed. Definitely Billy and his friends, the six black lads in their car, stoned. They're chatting about a party. Oh, do you remember when we went to that party last night? Well, obviously, because it was only like, if you'd have said like 6 months ago or something like that, but it was, do you remember? It was like he's asking a question, try and remember when, it was last night. And they're all talking over each other. So it's like, right, just have a conversation and go. And they do it all the way through. Yeah, I think there was quite a few ad-libbed bits and pieces in there.
It was, especially with that car, it kept flicking backwards and forwards to those guys in that car, so you knew something else was going to continue with it after.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to sit there, get the new Mustang, and then drive it out of the garage, and they were going to plow into him or something. That's how I thought it was going to end. That it was going to be a spectacular ending with them involved or something, or a fiery explosion.
That was the thing, the whole ending part of it. So you see him sort of like, he pulls up alongside Billy, and their car sort of breaks down and he goes, see you, Billy, and then just drives off as though he knew them from another time, but you'd never see any of that.
No.
And also the ending, I felt quite unsatisfied. It just felt like it ended just like that without any proper conclusion.
Yeah, there was going to be a sequel, but he died making the sequel.
But, I didn't know that.
Yeah. There was an incident with a water tower. So there was supposed to be a big stunt where a water tower fell down. The water tower was being held up by cables. One of the cables snapped.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's how he died.
But no, it just felt very unset because he obviously worked for the dad at the chop shop.
Yeah.
And now the brothers and sisters, or brothers and sister, have taken it over, or it's gone to them, but he's also part owner. So obviously the dad has seen him as the son he'd rather have than his two sons and the daughter. Yeah. So it's obviously they've got like a quarter share between them all. But there's no conclusion of that, the son, because he's the one who grasses him up, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
About going after Eleanor. And there's no conclusion to that in it or anything. And it was, so some of it felt a little bit unsatisfying. And like I say, the end, you see him drive off. You don't see him go to deliver the car or anything like that. No. You just see him drive off and then
driving down the street. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's sort of like, it was as though he didn't know how to finish it.
No. Well, the car chase. So we'll go on to that now.
Yes.
It was a 40-minute car chase, so the longest car chase in movie history, and it destroyed 93 cars.
Yep.
And 3 minutes into that car chase where he lost the coppers, I would have got out of the car and just fucked off. Cut your losses, just run away.
Yep. Just find another one. But the thing I do love is that the car he steals is the DJ. And the DJ's reporting on it and doesn't realise, and they leave it till right at the end.
Are you the owner of a 1973 yellow Mustang, California license number 614HSO?
Sure sounds like my car, all right.
But
I did like that bit.
Did you see the when the bikers with their trike and they're sort of like they're cheering,
flicking the bird?
Yeah. Did you see the bloke on the massive chopper? Where he waves like that, and then all of a sudden you see him grab the handlebars because he almost stacks it. Because they're really,
I did see that.
With the long forks, they are quite hard to control and keep balance. You really do. And he sort of waves like that, and then all of a sudden his hands go back up.
wobble. And the person on the back's freaking out slightly.
Yeah.
It was the interview with the old couple.
Did you hear that accident a little while ago?
Yes, we did.
We hear crashes all the time.
You hear crashes all the time? How come?
We come here every day.
Yeah. Basically just come here to watch the crashes. There was lots of... It was the way they're doing that the opening ceremony of the new police thing.
Yeah.
And they can hear the sirens and everything, and the police chief, because it's from a different county, isn't it? He comes over and he's going, oh, yes, it's police officers from another county chasing someone. And it goes right past, but he just goes back to the ceremony, just doesn't join in at all. Yeah, it's nothing to do with me. I can't be bothered. I'd rather sort of stay here with all of this lot who are probably going to vote me in next time.
Yeah. It's the other interview as well.
He was barreling down the road, man. It's unreal, man. He's almost ran the trees down, killed about 500 people. It's unreal, man.
But
I think the one that made me laugh the most was Mrs. Christine White calling up Mr. Joaquin.
Yeah.
Mr. Bud Joaquin, White Courtesy Top. Mr. Bud Joaquin, White Courtesy Top.
This is Joaquin.
Mr. Joaquin, I don't know how to tell you this, but this whole place is a mess.
I mean, the front line got wiped out. On the used car, there were some police chasing somebody. I don't know what it was. It all happened so fast.
I'll be right there.
The other one is when he pulls Eleanor into that car wash, and she goes,
Sir, do you want a spray wax?
No, just wash it.
The coincidence of the actual guy from the car showroom actually having the tash, the grey hair, and him getting arrested. But that was good that it was sort of like they're there checking the car, and then all of a sudden you just hear them say, we've got him, and then he's wade through. There was some little bits of the story
but then you
that were
get the
really
stop.
clever.
Then he gets stopped because the copper then goes, oh, yeah, look, I'll tell you the directions where you wanted to go. And it's that last little second that everyone goes, oh, no, he hasn't made it yet.
Yeah.
And
because that's what he does, doesn't he? To try and sort of distract him, he sort of says, oh, do you know how to get to? And he sort of says, shut up, I'm doing my job here. But then when he realizes he doesn't have to do that, then he gives him the directions. But that's what I'm saying. Some of the story writing was really clever.
Oh,
and
yeah,
like
the old lady with the umbrella. To go
it-
backwards and forwards with that. And, you know, there was some characters that they actually did do a good job with. And I think they must have started with the 40-minute car chase. They got all of that specced out, and by the end of that car chase, they went, we need to fill the rest of the film. How do we do this?
I do wonder whether it was sort of like a student film, and then it was like, right, we need to pad this out a bit. How can we pad? Well, let's make the car chase longer. Let's do some more story and stuff like, because you don't see loads of them actually stealing many of the other cars. That's over very quick, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then it's right, Eleanor, and then boom, all of a sudden it's just huge. I love it. Like I say, it was so bad. It was
almost good.
You sent me a message going, I've started watching the original Gone in 60 Seconds, and you going, it's awful. And so I've been dreading it.
No, I said it's a bit existential.
Yeah. And I was actually dreading watching it, and I put it off until this Friday. And it was sort of like, oh, I've got to do it. We're recording Sunday. I've got to watch it. And I sat there, watched it, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. And if anything, it made me dislike the remake more.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But
right, talking about that, did you want to move on to the remake?
I think so. I don't think I've got anything else. Nope, I'm all done on that.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, let's move on to the remake then. So, remake, Gone in 60 Seconds, released August 2000, distributed by Buena Vista International, estimated budget 90 million, estimated box office 237 million, screenplay by H.B. Halicki and Scott Rosenberg, story obviously originally by H.B. Halicki, directed by Dominic Sena, who also did California, Swordfish, and The Season of the Witch, amongst other things, and a load of music videos for Janet Jackson. Rotten Tomatoes critic score 25%, audience score 77%. And the cast: Nicolas Cage, Giovanni Ribisi, Angelina Jolie, Scott Caan, Will Patton, Delroy Lindo, Timothy Olyphant, Chi McBride, Robert Duvall, Christopher Eccleston, and Vinnie Jones. Trev, what's the synopsis on this version?
To save his brother, ex-thief Memphis must steal 50 luxury cars in 3 days for a crime boss. He reunites his old crew, including his mentor Otto and ex-girlfriend Sway, while police track them. Yes,
reasonable.
Yeah.
This film, Trev, early on, has got my pet peeve in it.
Which is?
Well, you know what my pet peeve is? Bad Photoshop.
Yes, it's literally on the opening sequence, isn't it? Nicolas Cage's, and it's just so bad. So
It's
bad.
awful. I can't stand it. It's not that difficult to make a good job at doing some, photoshopping. So why it seems Hollywood have a real difficulty, I don't know.
Because there's obviously like an old black and white picture they've taken, cut out someone's head and put Nicolas Cage's head in there. But the original photo is a little bit grainy, but no, they've made sure it's like crisp, clear picture of Nicolas Cage's head. And it just looks ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It's very, very strange. But we'll move on from that quite quickly. Kip Raines stealing the cars right at the beginning.
Yep.
He's got his fingerprints on everything.
Yes. Yep.
There was no
Pretty
gloves.
Well, you say that, but has he got the fingerprint things that you see earlier on? Does that sort of explain it?
I would say no. I would say they only thought of that bit halfway through.
Maybe. Perhaps someone sort of like watching it went, hang on a minute, none of these are wearing gloves. How can we explain this? Yeah.
Come back, refilm that little 5-10 second sequence that explains why they're not wearing gloves.
Yeah.
So is Eccleston an arsehole?
Am I an arsehole? Do I look like an arsehole?
Yeah.
He is a bit, but
we mean the character Mr. Eccleston, not yourself.
Yeah.
But he's an arsehole for not going back to Doctor Who, but we're not going to go into that one.
No. I just didn't feel very intimidated by him at all as a bad guy. If he hadn't have got, they say if this happened in London, he murdered someone and blah, blah, blah. So he's obviously got a reputation, but then the weirdest thing is sort of like he's passionate about wood and he's more worried about Nicolas Cage breaking his chair. And it's sort of like, I'm sorry, I wouldn't be intimidated by a man. That took me hours to make, and now you smashed it up. I'm so angry. And it's sort of like, it's just stupid.
Agreed. Completely agreed on that one. That was too over the top.
Yeah, it was sort of like he was quite menacing in some bits, and you could see that he was like a manipulative character when he's sort of like saying to Memphis near the beginning about, you're going to do this. Well, why would I do that? And he just goes, well, look, and then takes him to where his brother is and just starts crushing him. You can see the business manipulative mind there, but not the tough guy. It was a weird one.
No, agreed. I did like the introduction of the characters on Nicolas Cage's team, on Memphis's team. How he actually went through and re-recruited every single one of them.
Yeah, they're all doing separate, but you've seen it on so many other films where they do that. And have you noticed there's always someone who's a driving instructor with a terror whenever they but it's always a terrible driver as well whenever they're doing it. But it's a great cast, absolutely great cast.
Well, this was Vinnie Jones's first US movie because he'd done Lock, Stock, then he'd done Gone in 60 Seconds, then it was Snatch, and then it was Swordfish.
Yeah.
So I liked the introduction of him because of how he was in the Punch Up. Did you notice a certain recreation in the Punch Up?
No.
What do we know Vinnie Jones from?
Football.
He was a professional footballer. What's the most well-known photograph of Mr. Vinnie Jones, other than the one where he's taking out the 5-year-old?
Grabbing Gaz's.
Yeah. So if you watch the film, part of his defense, he grabs the balls.
Yes. I like that. Yes.
Apparently him and Robert Duvall got on really well because Robert Duvall's a big football fan. So they were talking about football all the time, the pair of them two. But yeah, let's just say Vinnie Jones couldn't do accents. That's why I think the ending bit with Sphinx, he says nothing until the end, and they got to take the piss and say,
Hey man, I thought you were from Long Beach.
And that was the thing. It was so funny that he couldn't do the accents, and that's why they left it with that. But I thought it was brilliant.
It was a clever little touch, and then he's like, because he's basically just this tough guy who snarls and whatever. And then he comes out with something so eloquent near the end there. It's almost philosophical, isn't it? And they're all just looking at him. They weren't expecting a British accent from him.
I think this is probably one of his best characters. Not best acting, forgive me for that. Best characters, I would say it's probably this one.
Probably because he doesn't speak.
No, he's good in Mean Machine. I think he's quite good in Swordfish. I think Lock, Stock, he's very good anyway. So it's not a problem with his acting ability when he's speaking. I think it's the acting ability when they try and cast him as an American that he can't do the accent or couldn't do the accent to start off with.
He can't do any accent because even if you look at him,
I'm the juggernaut, bitch!
it's literally, let's not even get him to try and do an accent. Let's just leave it as that, shall we?
Yes, exactly.
You mentioned it earlier about the comparison between the recreation of the drugs in the car. They obviously changed it around this time. You know, they'd stolen the car on the previous one, and it was just happened to be in there. On this one, it was the young member of the crew who's basically been told, he can order pizza really well, and him wanting to prove himself, thinking he's Billy Big Bollocks here. Look what I just stole. Not even on the list, because he wanted to be part of the crew, and screwing up. But then I love the way they got Delroy Lindo in there to rev the car to blow the heroin away that had spilt on the floor.
I did like that. I thought having that element, because I wasn't expecting it in the original. I thought it was something that was just created for this version.
Yeah. But other things which was which they took from that one, the snake in the car is obviously people didn't keep tigers in the 2000s, so it was how can we do this? So it was sort of recreating the same sort of scene but with a different animal, and it's the way Vinnie Jones is just calmly just sort of driving along. It's the other one, who just panics all the time.
Michael Penner playing Michael Penner.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna throw up, dog.
Man, that's disgusting.
And what kind of pervert gets their jollies off playing with dog shit?
I think that's the beginning of that type of character.
I think there was a few people who were playing themselves, sort of like Robert Duvall could have phoned in this role easily. Yeah. The one who plays Atlee as well. You've seen him do that same role so many times as well.
Punisher.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Punisher role. You've seen him as like someone's number two, sort of there and about.
All too often.
Yeah. I did like that Chi McBride was more the comedy element in this one, because he's normally sort of quite serious, or a police chief or something like that. This time he seemed to be the comedy foil in this, didn't he? Some of the stuff he was coming out with was funny. Really, really fun. I love the way when he goes to the DMV to get the numbers of the addresses of the car, and it's basically his student in there, and he's sort of like, sort of ducks his head down and carries on walking.
So what is it with the dodgy English accents in the whole of this? Even with the people who have real life English accents. Calitri's group, his gang, they're supposed to be English, and they've all got dodgy English accents.
Sorry, mate. We're all done here.
No, we're not done. This is number 50.
You're late, so sod off. You got a problem with that? Take it up with Calitri.
Yeah, well, that's it. They're supposed to have come over with him when he's come over here. But, they're obviously just American actors. And, you need to say this in an English accent.
All right, mate, I'll do that.
It even seems as though Christopher Eccleston is trying as hard as possible not to be too northern.
Doesn't matter much to me. One rains is as good as another. It never rains, but it pours.
Yeah.
In there, and sort of like fight about where Vinnie Jones just went, I'm going to use, this is how I sound.
I've got no choice. Yeah.
But no, it was okay. It was just rewatch. Like I say, it was after watching the original one. Well, I know we're going to get to it in a minute, but I think I actually prefer the original one now. But this is what's weird. I don't think I would ever watch the original one again.
No.
And I would probably now and again watch this one. But I think I prefer the original because I think it's just a smart movie. I know we're going to say this at the end. We do it at the end. But this is really a dumbed down version. It's just
in some respects, yeah.
I think it's just I think they were also, it was again, we've said it many a time before, around about this same time, Fast and Furious was out, wasn't it, as well?
Mhm.
So it's movie studio. Oh, they're doing a film with fast cars. We need to release a film with fast cars.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like, right, so what we're doing? It's the Armageddon Deep Impact thing, isn't it? And yeah, I think,
Volcano and Dante's Peak.
yeah, exactly. So I think it was, let's release something quickly. We haven't got a story. Find me an old film, and someone
Work from that.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened, because I don't think that it's that intelligent a writing. It's no one really goes out of their way in there, do they?
No.
It's a Nicolas Cage vehicle. How can we have Nicolas Cage being awesome?
Yeah, let's ride.
Yeah, I was just expecting some corny catchphrase in there, but instead you got the finger pointing. Yeah.
Okay, let's run.
What did you think to the car chase in this film?
The Eleanor one near the end.
Yeah.
Obviously
it wasn't as long and drawn out as the original one.
No. Some bits were way over the top. It was a bit patchy, I thought. It was good. The big pressurized tank. It was sort of like, how lucky was that it took out every single police car and just managed to get him through, and Delroy Lindo as well. But I've got.
Well, saying that, we haven't really spoken about Delroy Lindo or Timothy Olyphant. What did you think to Timothy Olyphant's character in this? I thought it was awful. It was too over the top. He was trying too hard.
It was a little bit. It was
as a character, not as the actor.
But then, sort of, he knows that Delroy Lindo's character is. He's obviously the senior one, and I think he's trying to. Right, I've got to impress him. And I got why he did it, but then it seemed to be too over the top.
Yeah,
and I like Timothy Olyphant as an actor.
As an actor, he's brilliant. He's been in some of my favourite films.
But then, is it that the cast was so big of big stars? How do I make myself stand out?
Yeah.
So has he gone over the top? Because he was only young when he was in this. He hadn't done any major roles. Hadn't got the career that he's got now. So it does make you think: was this him trying to put a stamp on itself?
Anyway, back to the car chase. So
Yes.
I agree where they got missed by the pressure gas, and then it goes from there.
Yeah, it was almost the part as well where he stops to try and sort of like just pause and hide from the police, and gets the wing mirror clipped off.
Yeah,
and then
the car just comes out, and
but that's to bring the car chase back up again, wasn't it? Because he'd more or less lost them. But again, okay, it did go on for too long, but I liked the way there was the police dispatch you could hear all the time. Right, the car chase is over. No, the car chase is back on again. I did like that element of it.
All units, the pursuit is going again.
In this one, it was just sort of like, right, how can we make it look like Nicolas Cage is a fantastic driver? It was just over the top. It was, but then a lot of Nicolas Cage's films of that time were over the top.
Agreed. Pause for 2 seconds on this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at Timothy Olyphant's career.
Yep.
He starred in something in 1996, which was a TV series called Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Right.
The premise of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. 2 spies are recruited by an intelligence agency. They pose as a married couple, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, when they're on their missions. Starring Maria Bello and Scott Bakula.
Oh, so that's almost like a mixture between True Lies and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, isn't it? It's like a mixture of the two. Oh,
I didn't know that thing existed.
So then,
especially with Scott Bakula.
So then, did the premise of that become Mr. and Mrs. Smith then?
I'm thinking it might have.
But that they don't know they're spies.
Yes, it says this is the inspiration for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, starring Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
Wow.
You find something new. Every day's a school day. Anything more you want to say about the car chase?
Not really, no.
No? But did it leave you a bit more fulfilled in respect to the car chase happened? He was able to get Kalitri. That's what got him off of doing the whole prison sentence. And then they ended up with an Eleanor at the end of it.
Yeah. It was sort of like he can say he completed it because he did actually deliver Eleanor onto the boat. I was just curious how he got off the boat afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, he actually fulfilled it, and finally, she may have needed, as he said, a little bit of fiberglass and a little bit of filler, a touch of paint. But yeah, there was actually a conclusion to it, and it was like, well, how are you going to get away from the cops? Well, let's have him save his life. But then, surely, because as you just said, Timothy Oliphant's character was so enthusiastic, he would have been up Delroy Lindo's arse going, so why aren't we chasing him anymore? Why aren't we chasing him anymore? He saved your life. So fucking what? He's still a car thief. We know he's done this, and I don't think he would have let him get away with that at all.
No, I agree.
But you've got to have it nice because it's a Nicolas Cage film. You've got to have, you've got to have it all superb where everybody's okay.
Right, do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Let's start. Lead actor of the movies, H.B. Halicki or Nicolas Cage? I think Halicki because he's done so much as well as acting.
Yeah.
But I did like the Nicolas Cage. It's just Nicolas Cage, though.
Exactly. You've seen the role from Nicolas Cage so many times. I'm going to go Halicki, but just very slightly. I think more because some of the writing is better. And it's obviously him that's he's written his part very well. I just think, like I say, there's a few of the people in this who could have phoned in their role.
Yeah.
And I think Nicolas Cage was one of those. You've seen it before. It's just a bit boring now. At the time, we all loved it. We all lapped it up at the time. But sort of
looking
now
back on it.
Yeah.
Who else do you want to talk about? Atlee Jackson was just a member of the crew in the last one. He's now kind of the go-between in this one.
Yeah, it was because I don't think really many of the other crew, because you had like Stash, which was basically obviously because he'd got a mustache, and Pumpkin, I think the girl. But apart from that, no one really had like big character names. It was all mainly around him, wasn't it? Around Pace.
Yeah. To me also, after watching the original, parts of this seem like a sequel more than it does a remake. Because if you take it that's the reason why Memphis Reign's been kicked out of...
I see what you mean. He's retired and his younger brother and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I get that a little bit. Just a shame it was so far apart from it. It could have been done as a sequel. So perhaps they took... Because as you said, they were filming a sequel. Perhaps some of the elements from the storyline for the sequel were put into this film.
Yeah, I think the sequel got made, but it wasn't called Gone in 60 Seconds 2. It was released, but under the title of Junkman.
Oh, okay.
I don't think everything got finished off with Halicki's character, and I think they moved on without it. Not seen it, so couldn't tell you anything about that one.
Not sure I want to.
But Halicki does like his car stealing films because obviously Deadline Auto Theft was another good one that he did, apparently.
Right. I reckon he just liked driving fast cars around, and that was his
giving
excuse
himself
for doing
an excuse.
it.
Yeah. All right, so let's wrap this one up. Which out of the two films do you prefer?
As I said earlier, I think I prefer the original now. I don't think I'd ever watch it again. Did it need a remake? Yes. Did it get the remake it deserves? Maybe not, if that makes sense.
Oh, I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was, if they'd have taken some of the cleverness of the writing from the original and put it in this one and not just made it a Nicolas Cage vehicle, then it may have been a better story. But no, I'm going to go for the original, but saying, yes, it did need a remake, but we didn't get the remake we deserve.
Fair enough. I enjoyed it. Let's just say that. I enjoyed both films. I could watch the remake more than I could the original. That's 100%.
Which is pretty much what I said.
Yeah, I'll go for that. I'll go for the remake over the original because of that reason. It's more watchable. I found myself getting frustrated with the original.
The original, that the car chase is just too long, I think. but I think they just needed to pad it out a bit, and that's what happened then. It was sort of like,
that wasn't what frustrated me. What frustrated me was not being able to see half of the car chases early on in the film and the ADR. That's what annoyed me.
I did like that scene in the one at nighttime where he puts the car back on his driveway because he realizes he's an insurance investigator. And then the police go, no, you were speeding, and arrest him anyway. And I thought that was clever. Very clever.
Yeah. So that's it. I think we need to move on to our 5 to 1.
Yes, I think so.
And our 5 to 1 this episode is for
the lovely Angelina Jolie.
Ms. Angelina Jolie. Yep. So, do you have any honourable mentions?
Yeah, I've got a couple. When I was going through this list, I said to you earlier, but off mic, I was actually surprised how many Angelina Jolie films I liked.
Mm-hmm.
And bearing in mind, there's a fair few that I haven't seen, and maybe some of her bigger films. But the honourable mentions I wanted to put were Salt.
Okay.
And on a similarish vein, Wanted.
Okay.
And I quite liked one of her earlier roles, which is Hackers.
Okay.
Where she met her first husband, wasn't it?
Johnny Lee Miller.
Yeah. So yeah, they're my honourable mentions. What about you? Have you got any?
Yeah, I got 2. Again, Salt is an honourable mention for me. And another film which I did like, which was Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow.
I actually like that film, but she's is she the bad guy in it?
No, she's the love interest that he had and had to let go and blah, blah, blah. And she's the captain of the ship.
Yeah. So I actually quite, I know it got panned terribly, but I actually quite like it. The way it's filmed.
The 1930s serial style.
I quite like that. I was going to put that on my list, but it's been so long since I saw it that I didn't actually remember her in there. I know we say it doesn't necessarily mean that that person is the greatest in it, but that's the reason I didn't put it. But I agree with you on that one. I did quite like that film.
Yeah, I enjoyed that film. Right, so your top 5, starting at number 5.
So my number 5 is one that I only watched a couple of years ago. It's a more recent one of hers. It's called For Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Okay.
It's her and her crew are they're part of like a forest fire team, and it's her getting stuck in one of these forest fire towers, but there's a kid. There's a separate side story goes on, and the 2 stories meet together, and it's a good little film. I really enjoyed it. You know, when you see some of these films and go, oh, is it going to be another bit of that? But it was really well done. I quite enjoyed it. I don't know if you've seen it, I'd recommend it. I think you'd quite like it.
Cool.
What about you? What's your number 5?
Gone in 60 seconds.
Right.
That's my number 5. I've said why. I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed her character in the film. You know, it wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't centered around her. So therefore, in my opinion, it goes down the list, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Rather than her being the lead character. No, I enjoyed this film. I enjoyed I enjoyed her acting in it. And I think for me, this is probably one of the earliest roles that I can remember her in, if that makes sense.
Right.
So I can't remember her too much before that. I think this is where, okay, I've noticed her as an actress. So your number 4.
My number 4 is an episode we've already done before. So it's Lara Croft Tomb Raider. I thought she was
Let
good
me stop you there.
Is your number 4 Lara Croft Tomb Raider by any chance?
My number 4 is both the Tomb Raiders.
Okay. I much preferred the first one to the second one.
Mm-hmm. I can understand that.
But so that's why I've just put one of them on there. But, you know, I could go for both of them in the same sort of vein if you're putting her as the character in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it. We've done the episode. So if you haven't listened to it, look for our Tomb Raider episode.
Yep.
So you've done your number 4. So my number 3.
Your number 3.
My number 3, and it's this high because I didn't expect to actually quite like it.
Okay.
It was just I had nothing to do one day, and I went, "Oh, I'll watch that," and it's Maleficent.
Okay.
I know it's a Disney. I'm not
didn't hit my list, but yeah, I was enjoying it.
And yeah, it was. I thought the story was really good. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I haven't seen the.
It expands the story really well.
Yeah, I haven't seen the sequel.
I think I have, but I can't remember it. If that makes sense.
And I've only ever watched Maleficent once, but it has just stuck with me that I did really enjoy the story, so that's why it's in there.
Fair enough.
Your number 3,
Hackers.
Okay.
Yeah, an early one for her. I say I didn't really notice her much before this film, but Hackers was a damn good film. As you said, her Johnny Lee Miller, Wendell Pierce, it's an early one for him that I noticed him in as well. Matthew Lillard may take a lot of...
you can see why he got other roles from this, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he makes the film as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really enjoyable film. I've gone back and watched it. I think being even in an IT head that I am, that I could sit there and pull apart most films that have any involvement with IT or anything else. Like, I think this is a fun, enjoyable film.
Yeah.
So yeah. And your number 2?
My number 2 is Pushing Tin.
Okay.
It's centered around air traffic controllers, and it's again, I think she met her husband on this film because Billy Bob Thornton's in this one and John Cusack in there, and it's a very different story. It's a very clever story, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it's always stuck in my head, that film. I've only watched it a couple of times again, but yeah, I don't know what it is with Angelina Jolie that she likes meeting her husband on the sets of films, but yeah, that's my number 2. What about you, my friend?
My number 2 is Wanted.
Right.
Mr. Mark Miller's comic book turned into a film.
Yes.
Not as hardcore as the original Mark Miller comic book.
No, they did definitely softened it up a little bit. Yeah. So you have to shut off disbelief with the bending bullets.
Like a lot of Mark Miller films and comic books, they've remade it kick-ass and everything else like that. The comic book is a bit more darker and a bit more graphic than the actual film itself.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy what they did with it. I think it's right for a sequel. I do.
Okay.
I think McAvoy did a really good job in it.
Yeah.
So I think all in all, it could be. There was obviously a sequel comic. There was extra comics in there, but it's just one of those things that it's a good film. I enjoyed it, and there's certain elements in there and certain actors in there that I went, oh yeah, I like these guys working together.
And I think that was an early role for Chris Pratt in that as well, wasn't there?
I think so.
He was the one who works in the office with him and is basically doing his girlfriend, and so he beats the smacks
knocks
him in
his
the
teeth
face.
out.
Yeah.
Right, and your number 1?
So my number 1 is The Bone Collector. Denzel Washington is the lead, and
based on a book, wasn't it?
Yeah, based on a book by Jeffrey Deaver.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever read any of his stuff personally, but yeah, she's a young detective who's helping out. She's basically the legs and eyes of Denzel Washington's character because he's bedbound. I think is he quadriplegic in it because he has to use his mouth for everything, doesn't he?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's such a good story. I think you'd enjoy it. I think you really would enjoy it.
I think there was a TV series as well. Lincoln Rhyme, I think it was The Hunt for Bone Collector or something, if I remember rightly.
Don't know. Never seen it.
Yeah.
So what about you? What's your number 1? I think I may know.
What do you think it is?
I think it's Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
It is. It's Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. And, the dynamics between her and... What are you laughing at?
Another film where she met another husband.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. The dynamics between her and Brad Pitt, I think you can tell at that point that they were getting close, and that's where it all started off. And I enjoyed the film. I really did. And it's spinning off into the new Amazon series that they've got, which I enjoyed as well. No, there's a lot of elements in that film that I really did like, and it's one of those films where I don't mind going back to it and rewatching it several times. I'm not one of those people that will go, oh, okay, it's not this film again. No, I enjoy it, and every so often you see something little extra inside it. It reminds me very much, in part, of True Lies.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I get that.
that's I think where the two films there have me grasped. So enjoyed, really do.
Yep. Good.
And
good.
yeah, it's her and Brad Pitt playing husband and wife, not realizing they're both secret agents for different rival firms.
Yeah.
So, Trev, what is your one bad? And is it the same as my one bad? Because I think we kind of like both went, this film was awful. It could have been so much better.
Well, I think yours is different from mine.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And I think
we should have done the whole of this.
So, do you want me to guess what yours is first before I say what mine is?
No, just tell me what your film is.
Mine is Alexander.
Okay.
A film about Alexander the Great. It was awful. She played.
Who else starred in that?
Colin Farrell plays Alexander the Great, who's only like 2 years younger than her, but Angelina Jolie plays his mum.
Yeah.
Whether they did that because Alexander the Great supposedly had a bit of an incestual relationship with his mum, which I think is shown in the film.
Who was Alexander the Great's mum? Wasn't it her that could sink 1,000 ships?
No, you're thinking of Troy, Helena Troy.
Yeah, Helena Troy. Yeah.
I'm going to write something down, and
you know exactly what my film is. I'd be shocked if you didn't. Yeah, it's The Eternals.
That nearly made my bad one, but Alexander was worse.
No, I looking through the list, there were some obvious films that she'd been in, and there's some unobvious films that she'd been in, and it's the amount of films that I've not seen with her, if that makes sense. She's not my go-to.
No, but that's what I was saying about when I was going through the list. I was surprised how many films of hers I liked, but then I haven't seen some massive ones of hers. For example, Girl Interrupted.
Okay.
And there's a few other of like films of note of hers that I've not seen.
Well, there's a film with her and ScarJo. I've seen that, but I can't remember what the name is, and it was just kind of one of those that, yeah, it was good. I'm not going to stick it on my list.
Yeah.
But no, Eternals was just awful. I like the idea, I like the premise, I like the thought behind it, but the execution was just terrible in places. Unfortunate, because it could have been quite a big comic book franchise, to be honest. And there's still call for a couple of the characters to come back, and I think a couple of the characters will come back, but not the main cast ensemble for another Eternals film.
No, well, the Kit Harington character, he's supposed to be
Black Knight.
Black Knight, that's it.
Yeah.
And you hear a voice at the end, which is Blade.
Yeah, the original casting of Blade, not the new casting of Blade.
So, it was definitely linked up for other things. But it just seemed to fall a bit flat, didn't it?
Yeah. As we've said recently, a lot of the Marvel films have fallen flat. So I think that was the beginnings of it. Was Eternals has made it fall flat, and it's gone from there. But Eternals itself has kind of screwed things along, where you've got beings inside the Earth, and now you've got the whole guy sitting with his hand outside, which is now part of potentially going to be adamantium, etc., and everyone's arguing over it. So without that film, you wouldn't have necessarily have had that.
Yeah, I quite like though that we had a huge difference in films there. It was we almost went through our whole career between the two of us.
Yeah, it makes a change than having an actor that's just had 5 breakout films and 1 terrible film.
Yeah,
is that it for this episode?
Yes, mate, I think so.
It's always a pleasure speaking to you, my friend.
And to you, and to you.
So, yeah. Thanks for listening. Please remember to follow, like, and subscribe. Where can they get hold of us, Trev?
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Just go to @TheDejaReview or contact us via our email, which is thedejareview@gmail.com.
I'm Mart.
And I'm Trev.
Enjoy yourselves.